Welcome to another episode of Amplify Your Business. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I have to say, social media has been surprising me and giving me some amazing new connections lately. And I get to bring you another one of these amazing connections and people that I got to meet through social media. I have Adrian here today, and I don't ever like to do introductions because I feel like mine are so formal and don't give it enough justice. So Adrian, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and who you are, what you do, kind of thing.
Sure. My name is Adrian Marquez. I'm a Business Made Simple certified coach. I worked in the sales industry as well as insurance for a bit, and I found a lot of small business owners just struggling with operations, day-to-day operations, just really overwhelmed and stuck where they were at. I used a 6-step proven plan to optimize their small business for revenue and profit, to actually help them push their product and help more people and do more of the things that they love.
I love that. I love that. So have you actually you left sales, you left that insurance realm, and you just do, is it more like a coaching side of things, or are
Yes,
you
yes. So
actually in people's businesses and doing the operations with them or for them?
Yes, so it's a little bit of both. I offer a couple services. I do one-on-one coaching. I have left my 9 through 5, and I now own my own coaching agency. So I do help small business owners as well as get into the operations. That's going to be my fractional COO service. That's where I actually go into your business and apply 5 meetings. From there, that's going to operate your entire company. And before I leave, I actually train a COO to stay behind and continue the operations or what I have left behind. That way, once we part ways, you're not struggling or having to do everything yourself. I'll actually train somebody to take over that COO position so you can keep running your business.
And that's incredible. I think that is something that is missing in a lot of coaching businesses, is that opportunity to go, okay, I don't want you to have to be dependent on me, right? That's something in the coaching business. I've seen it. I used to do health coaching, and it's a very well, we want them dependent on us. And I love that you are freeing one, yourselves, and two, the company, because you want them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and not necessarily need you any longer. And I love that you're willing to go, okay, before I leave, let's go ahead and get you settled and get somebody to take over this portion and not just throw it back at the business owner who is probably already doing a lot. Just having somebody else and understand that to delegate. This is a topic that entrepreneurs, I have to put it bluntly, they suck at doing. They just do. Is delegating out to somebody else. And I think that by you going, no, we're going to train somebody else to take this role and do this role is so important for business owners. Do you see that that is probably one of the harder things, though, for them to do, is to delegate that position out to somebody?
Yes, it is. And I actually have some instance where we actually get the COO, we hire the COO, but the business owner still wants to be in, he still wants to be in the chair. He still wants to be actually running the operation or kind of overlooking how things are going. That's when we just invite him to the same meetings, and he can actually just run his business from the Bahamas, for 5 hours on Monday. And with those 5 meetings, he's set.
Which is so great because, it's hard because a lot of business owners are like, no, I want to be involved. I gotta know, which is great. I mean, you are the one who started the business, but you also asked for time freedom. You also asked for that ability to walk away, and you have to trust somebody. And it's key. It really is. So I feel like the way you do it is so awesome because you're gonna let them come in, you're gonna let them see, and be like, trust and believe me, we've got it, right? Let them see it, but also not require them to take that over and hold on to that. You're making them release that so that they can't hold on to it. So what are some tips that you or advice that you kind of have if when you first see somebody who is like, they come to you and they're like, I need some help. I need some help. where are the first places that you look for or go to when looking for that release that they're looking for?
Yeah, so there's usually six parts to a business. There's your leadership, your marketing, your sales, your overhead and operations. We also have your cash flow as well as your products or services. So out of those six parts, when a business comes in, they're struggling in either cash flow or they're struggling in leadership. From there, that's when we can actually start, helping everybody out on the other parts of the business. But usually when a company comes in, they're struggling with that, managing them. So, you can make the money, but you can't manage the money too well. So a lot of business owners will rather go out and make more money instead of manage the money they already have. So that's where I come in and I'm like, okay, are you running your business out of one checking account? And a lot of businesses actually do that. They run their business through one checking account or their personal account. So they mix personal and business. So right there, that's a big no-no already. So from there, the tips I give them is to actually open up 5 checking accounts. The first one is going to be, of course, your personal account. The second one is going to be your business operations. The third one is going to be your taxes. The fourth one is going to be your business profit. And then the fifth one is your investment. So kind of how these 5 checking accounts work is, let's say your business runs, for operations every month, $5,000 is what you need. So in the operation account, that's what you want, $5,000. As soon as that over exceeds $5,000, you want to transfer that over to your profit. Of course, once we get profit, we have to pay taxes. So you want to transfer equivalent enough to pay taxes. From your business profit, I recommend at least 6 months worth of your overhead. As soon as that's over, that's when we can actually start throwing it into our investment account and start wasting money, right? So of course, we have a rainy day fund. If something were to happen, we have 6 months worth of overhead for our business to run. That's paying payroll, that's expenses, everything the business needs for operations is in those accounts.
That's incredible. I don't think I've ever heard of it that way, to look at the bank. I know I personally have always been, told from the very beginning of my business, never mix personal and business, like keep them as 2 separate accounts. So I have that for myself. And then of course, like I always look at it and go, okay, I fill up my savings account and then my checking account, right? The direct funds continue to go in and out of one. I do put stuff in savings, but it's one of those things where like, okay, but where is this money supposed to be delegated? Is much better to be putting it that way so that you're not just, well, it's in savings, so let's just keep pulling. But what is it for? And indicating when are we putting it, what are we putting it for, and knowing where that money is so that you're not sitting there worrying about where the next client's coming, right? And we can focus on the real essence of what we're doing, not, oh no, I need to pay bills later.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing is, usually we get our P&L statement, but the P&L statement doesn't help us make a decision. It doesn't really show you how much money you set aside for taxes, how much money the business has, how much money you actually have on hand, let's say, to invest in an opportunity. So with these 5 checking accounts, you're going to have that clarity and the strategy to actually manage your cash flow, so you can start investing in different opportunities. But of course, you're not leaving your small business behind, and that's the thing. I have a lot of small businesses that, they want to start a business, they start it, and then they move on to a different endeavor. They start another business, but they haven't yet, let's say, optimized the first one. So now they're just mixing too much business, let's just say. And it gets overwhelming. It really, really does. So when you can actually sit down, handle your first business, then, delegate everything, that's when you can actually move and use your investment money to start another business, instead of any around.
Well, and I think that also plays into then, if you can see that you have the extra for another person to be hired on, or take on that additional payroll, and you can see that you have it and you're willing, by being able to see the dollars and what you're using them on, you can then utilize them where it's best seen fit, and you're not wondering and worried and, oh, I don't know, and you just sit here kind of going down this downward spiral of chaos, when you can look at the numbers, look at what you need, and start to go, okay, well, I have money here. I've got all of it in, I've done all the other things. It's all placed where it's needed. I hate doing X, Y, and Z. I'm going to delegate that, right? Like you can then see where else you can put it so that you're not doing what you don't like. Entrepreneurs want to be the jack of all, right? We want to contain everything. But there are certain things you love doing and other things you're like, this is my bane of my existence. I hate doing this. And that's the thing you need to delegate out. So now by you being able to see the numbers and see what you have going on, you can actually do that and not have to worry.
Right, right. And when you start delegating, that's when we apply those 5 meetings to actually run your company. Of course, in those 5 meetings, we have quarterly performance reviews. I see this as a big thing for small business owners. So we have employees, but we don't give them quarterly reviews. So they don't know where the business is going. They've lost the mission. Everyone's pulling in different directions. So how can we actually get them organized and, actually helping the bottom line? Get everybody productive. That's what those 5 business meetings help you do.
Which is so cool. I mean, I worked retail, and I worked corporate America for a long time. And I guess you never thought about it. I never did. Like I just did, we did our monthly meetings and we did our yearly reviews and you just did these things. And I don't know why, as a small business owner, we wouldn't just take those same principles and apply them, but they don't get applied. And that's really, honestly, a true thing because, like you said, if we don't keep everybody at the same pace or the same concept and we don't keep everybody linear, you're going to have one person talking one thing, another one talking another direction. You're going to have the mission being skewed or muddy, or it's not going to be cohesive anymore. And so you have to have those meetings and you have to be able to all understand where are we going, where are we at, and how do we get there. We got to be able to explain the roadmap. Yeah. Sometimes that's hard for entrepreneurs to do sometimes, and small business owners to do sometimes, because we see it. We see the vision, but how do we put it out to others? Do you have tips on that? Do you have tips on how do we vocalize that to the team and to others that maybe don't see our vision all the time?
Yes, so how you actually get everybody aligned is through your mission statement. So a lot of people make a mission statement, but it's missing a couple of key points. So you don't have 3 economic objectives. So if your mission doesn't have 3 economic objectives, well, it's not helping your revenue. It's not actually, helping that bottom line. From there, we have a deadline, right? So every mission needs to have a deadline. So if you don't have a deadline for, let's say, your mission, we have 3 economic objectives. We need so many clients by such date. Now your employees can get behind that mission, know what their responsibilities are, and continue day to day helping that bottom line. That's how you get everybody aligned. And then especially with you add the 5 meetings, that's gonna just keep your whole business aligned. And you really only need to run your business is 5 hours. 5 hours on Monday, and you can run your entire business just by having a clear mission and applying that productivity playbook.
And I think that right now is probably making a lot of entrepreneurs or small business owners stroke out. I will not lie. Of hearing I only need to work 5 hours a week and I can still have a functioning business. A lot of them are probably like heart palpitations, freaking out, like all the things, sweating, and just because they might not be there. They might be working 80 hours. They might be working 40 hours just to try and make it function. So what do you have to say to those that are like sitting here full panicking right now? We're like, I work 40 hours in my business. How do you mean I can drop to 5? Yes. What do you have to tell those?
Well, I want you guys to actually see your business as an airplane. So, this is a metaphor that I use with my clients. See your business as an airplane. So I mentioned those 6 parts of an airplane. So we got the leadership. The leadership is going to represent your cockpit. We have the right engine. That's going to represent your marketing. The left engine of your airplane is going to represent your sales. Then we have the body of your airplane. That's going to represent your overhead and operations. We have the wings of your airplane. That's going to represent your products as well as your services. And then we have the fuel tanks for your airplane. That's going to represent cash flow. So for these businesses, what I recommend is actually go in there in your business. Usually a lot of people are sitting back, let's say in this airplane, and they're giving out cookies, they're handing out waters to the passengers, right? And that's the business owner. So if we can move the business owner and put him into the cockpit, running and flying your plane, you're the one with the vision, you're the one with the roadmap, you're the one that needs to fly that plane to its destination. So a lot of business owners are stuck in the operations. What we do is we move you out of the operations, we put you in the driver's seat, and you drive your plane, you drive your business, you actually run it instead of having the business run you.
Which is so important because we go back to, like you said, the mission statement. And a running theme that I talk to a lot of small business owners is I want freedom. I don't want to have to punch the 9 to 5 clock. I want some freedom and time and still make money and all the things. And we're forgetting that. Like, we get in and we're like, okay, I'm in it. And yet you're like, who's driving this? Who's running this thing? Like, I get you're trying to do all the things at once, but you can't drive and do. You need people here, guys.
You need a team.
And we forget why we even started this whole thing. And we need to remember that. We need to remember, why did I even want to start this business in the first place? I know it wasn't just for kicks and giggles, because this is not your kicks and giggles kind of thing. Like, nobody starts a business just for fun. You're doing it for a reason, but do we remember what the reasoning is so that we can then, one, portray that, because that's what's going to do all the rest of it. But also, are we actually sticking to that? Because in the end of it, if you're working 40 hours, you might as well have still gone to the 9 to 5. Hate to put it that way, but we probably should have just stopped there. Less stress. A lot less stress just staying in the 9 to 5 if you're not gonna give yourself that freedom that you wanted from it all. Is there anything that you would, like, you give out so much advice, like so many amazing things, like in such a short period of time? I'm like, my goodness, I hope everybody is taking notes, because I have already been like, okay, we need this. How do we, I know who that person needs to hear this episode, like all the things. But do you have any advice for anybody at any stage in their business that I know you've probably seen them in all stages of business functioning. Is there kind of a unanimous thing that you would advise any and all business owners today?
Yeah, so what I recommend for any business owner today is actually to go and take a business assessment. So I offer a free business assessment. It takes about 10 to 12 minutes. You can go in there. There's some tedious questions in there. So take your time, make sure you answer them correctly, because that's going to give you a really detailed and customized report on your business. Like I said, there's 6 different parts to your business. So when you go in there, it's going to ask you separate questions depending on that part of the business. And how you answer, it's going to throw out a PDF. You can download that PDF, and it's going to have 30 pages of a customized report on your business. So it's going to tell you exactly where you're at, what you need to do, and how you can scale your business. Like I said, 10 to 12 minutes, you can get that.
Which is amazing. So if you're not already there, guys, you need to be. So tell us, where do we get to find this assessment? Where do we get in touch with you? Because I'm already like, everybody needs to like pause for half a second, pull up a screen, pull up a thing, and hurry up, type quickly. Hopefully you're not driving. Or save this episode if you are. And how do we get in touch with you? Because your information is just absolutely can change somebody's trajectory in their business, can absolutely change it. And so how do we get in touch with you, or how do we keep going for this?
So you can get in touch with me. You can go to prosperbusinesscoaching.com. That's going to have that business assessment on there. You can take it. And I'll also share my LinkedIn tree. That's going to have my podcast, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So you can check me out as well. Other information.
Fabulous. What about your podcast, though? I mean, of course, share your well. Fill us in. What other podcasts do they need to be listening to, these wonderful listeners? What do they need to be listening to from you? What's it called?
So it's called the Prosper Podcast. So it's actually for leaders. If you are a leader, if you train somebody, if you have a team running under you, I recommend you go listen to the Prosper Podcast. This is where I'm going to teach you about leadership. There's usually 10 characteristics that every driven professional has. I'm going to be running through those 10 characteristics, as well as give you free information on leadership, how to actually manage your team so you can help, of course, your business and bring that bottom line up.
Fabulous. Well, of course, if you are not as quick fingered as some and you maybe are busy right now, don't worry. All information will be in the show notes so that you can go ahead and save this information. You can get your assessment. You can listen to the podcast. You can get all the things. But make sure that you are going to be following Adrian. Make sure that you are looking at these things, because in the whole essence of what both Adrian and I and so many others are trying to do is really truly amplify your business. And knowing how to do that starts here. It's knowing what is your business, knowing all the things and being a part of it, not letting it run you. Like you said, not letting it run you, but you run it. And so make sure that you go ahead and give Adrian's podcast a follow. Go take your assessment and make sure you're following here on Amplifying Your Business, and make sure that you're ready for the more incredible guest, just like Adrian, to be a part of our experience and be listening for more. So thank you again, Adrian, for being on. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you and all the incredible nuggets of information that you have just shared with us. And we will be in touch soon.
We will. Thank you, Stephanie. Hope everybody has a wonderful day and look forward to seeing you guys on the other side. Take that free business assessment.